Weather First with meteorologist Joshua Rivas.
All right, good Saturday evening, everybody. Time now for a little tropical update here. And there are a few tropical waves you're watching out there in the central Atlantic. I mean, this is the time of year that we start to look for those stronger tropical waves. It's just that really over the past several years, dry air has been a big factor in the Atlantic, and it really has limited the amount of tropical waves we've seen, much less the amount of tropical storms that come out of the eastern Atlantic compared to, say, 04, 05. We had multiple storms and pretty strong ones out there. So dry air is still in the Atlantic, but you can get some of these tropical waves that are strong enough to survive it. And we do have two of them out there. One of them is far out in the eastern Atlantic, and one of them is approaching the Caribbean islands. Right now, there are no current storm threats, at least through the next 3, maybe 4 days. After that point, some of our models today have been indicating that there could be some development with the first tropical wave once it reaches, say, the Yucatan Peninsula and points further west. I'm talking about is way over here and south of our area. So right now, it looks like we're not going to be really worrying about anything. Here's this first tropical wave. Again, pretty large, thus why it has survived that trek across the Atlantic. The larger they are, the better chance they have surviving. The difference is that when you have a big system like this and it's moving very fast towards the west, that's how it can survive the dry air. But on the flip side, it can't really develop a surface circulation because it's moving so fast. On top of that, it's going to be moving into the eastern Caribbean, which sometimes we do call the tropical graveyard because the easterly trade winds pick up pretty significantly here over the eastern Caribbean. Now, this system is already moving pretty fast towards the west, so there's not going to be any change in the wind speeds. It's just going to continue to move it pretty fast westerly across the Caribbean Sea. So not expecting too much development over the next 3 to 4 days from this system. Wind shear, not too much of an issue. It's going to be under pretty favorable conditions, and the next wave behind it will be right about in this vicinity as we go later on in the work week. So pretty favorable conditions in terms of the wind shear. It's just that this tropical wave is going to deal with some more dry air out in the Atlantic. We'll see if it survives it. Right now, the models aren't too hot on that one. The one before it, though, could as it moves closer towards the Caribbean Sea. Here's a tropical wave here with some higher wind speeds across the Caribbean islands and, say, Jamaica as well. But overall, these wind speeds here are the fast trade winds. Again, they are pretty fast this time of year, and they usually are a lot. So they can really shove everything towards the Western Caribbean. Everything slows down here, and that's when you can sometimes get some tropical development, which some models have started to come on board with as we go late next week. We'll see how that plays out. But either way, you can see moisture comes into our area from that system, but the majority of the deep tropical moisture, the main system itself, stays well towards our south. We're just getting back into our typical summertime pattern as we go Wednesday through Friday with plenty of moisture to go around our area. For tonight, we're still looking at temperatures in the mid-70s. Storms will continue to end, and then we'll end up warm and muggy with light winds. 70 forecast, a little update here. Rain chances around 50% for Wednesday through Friday, then coming down 40% by next week. And I think the majority of the moisture will be when that tropical wave moves just towards our south, and that once it moves further towards the west, it will begin to dry out just a little bit across our area, but still enough moisture around. Temperatures low 90s, lows back in the upper 70s.